I wanted to make my clown a little bit more unique by creating cuts around the eyes in that diagonal shape instead of just drawing them on like most clowns have. You can use whatever medium you have on hand. I'm using 3rd degree because it's what I prefer. I mixed in some Nye Clown White since I do have clear 3rd degree, so that way I can make sure that my transition into the skin is very seamless. With 3rd degree, it comes in parts A and B. You scoop equal parts of A and B onto a palette and you mix it. Make sure you do not cross-contaminate the jars because it will activate and you will basically ruin the product, and this product can be quite pricey. I will leave a link to Goldie Starling's video all about 3rd degree down below because she does an amazing job explaining it, and before you buy this product, I recommend checking it out and making sure that you know how to use the product before actually using it. So you can actually disregard me mapping out my mouth before white face paint because it gets covered with white face paint anyway, so not a big deal, just skip this step. To white out my face, I'm using Nye Clown White. This product is really thick, so I would recommend scooping some of it out of the pot and then rubbing it on the back of your hand to warm it up. I applied it with my fingers and then went in with a dense brush to kind of blend it out on my skin. I'm not worrying if it's the perfect white because I am going to grunge it up later. If you are looking for the perfect white, I would recommend using a beauty blender or the Real Techniques beauty sponge and using that to add a second layer after you buff on one layer to create a really nice stark white face. If you want, you can cover your eyebrows using glue or spirit gum or Prozade or whatever. I chose not to. I wanted to keep this look a little bit more real in that sense, as if somebody was putting this paint on to go and scare the shit out of people for days at end. So I decided not to cover my eyebrows. Also, it just seemed like a little bit more effort for something that's supposed to look grungy anyway. So do what you wish. I chose not to do mine. After I got the white to the opacity that I wanted it, I went in with a water activated black face paint, lightly wet a fluffy eyeshadow brush, dipped it into the dry paint and patted it on my face, taking my finger and blending it out after. This creates a nice dirty, grungy look that I want for my clown, and it breaks up the white in the same process. You can keep your clown looking very stark white if that's what you prefer. I wanted mine to look grungy, like he had been out in the forest for days on end scaring kids. I also took that black around my eyes. I used the same fluffy brush with the wet paint and just applied it very messily around my eyes. Instead of just smudging it all around your eyes, I would recommend making weird faces and wrinkling your eyes, so that way it'll give a nice wrinkled, lived-in texture. I'm taking a red water-activated face paint and going around those cuts that we put around the eyes. This will give an effect as if the clown had painted these lines on at one point but decided to carve them into his skin. It does get covered up mostly by the fake blood later, but I decided to add this because I thought it looked cool and it fit the storyline. And then I'm taking some Nye fresh scab blood and filling in those wounds. I went with this type of blood because it is a little bit more chunky. If you go with a liquid blood, it's just going to be runny, and I wanted something that was going to stay in place, so I would recommend using a scab blood. I took the contour shade from the e.l.f. contour palette and used that to also dirty up my face, taking a kind of looser brush that doesn't have as many bristles and just pouncing it over my face to create a dirty appearance. The outline I drew around my mouth was still visible at this point, so I decided to just fill it in with red and outline it with blue. I wanted to keep a cartoony mouth since the eyes were so heavy and gory and gross. This way it kind of balanced it out in my opinion, but you are free to do whatever you please. Then I went in with Kryolan's blood powder. This is a powder that you sprinkle on any areas you want a splattered blood effect. You spray it with water and it instantly turns to liquid blood. I decided to use this around my eyes since all I used was that thick blood, and I figured this might give me more variation. Be careful if you used a white water activated face paint for your base, because if you are looking for a really nice white base and not trying to make it grungy, this will dilute the paint and make it run and kind of add your skin tone to it and stuff, so I would not recommend using this if you are looking for a more clean clown. I took some black craft icing I got at Michael's and put it on my tongue with a cotton swab and swished it around my mouth to make my mouth look gross and my teeth look all black and stuff. I picked this trick up at 13th Gate and it's really cool. And I finished this off by sending some really freaky Snapchats to my friends, because why not? I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you thumbs it up and subscribe to my channel. I put out a bunch of freaky stuff, and I also put out some girly stuff, so definitely check it out. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.